Well, hello there. The most interesting thing about recording in this location right now is that the last time that I was in this location, there was snow on the ground. And so I came back to this location to record because I have to record a different spot every single day. So, welcome back to my February challenge. If you are new here, February challenge is where I'm just hitting record and whatever my analytics is telling me that people are looking at or that people have found me or all the different things that YouTube is spitting out to me. I am spitting game back to YouTube. That was I don't yeah, I don't know about that. But this is what you're here for. So this is me unedited, just picking a topic, talking about it, rambling about it, seeing what I think about it, and then that's it. No edits, no anything. The only time I will edit, and I haven't had to yet, is if somebody walks behind me because I am in a public space. However, the way the camera is positioned, I don't think anybody will walk behind me. But there was snow back here the last time I recorded. Nobody cares about the snow. So, anyways, I'll just go ahead and move on to to what I'm going to do. So, also, the other thing that's been interesting is the other day I realized that because I'm wanting to talk about certain things when those certain things don't pop up, I get annoyed. Instead of getting annoyed, I'm just going to turn those topics into something I want to talk about and I'm just going to share my thoughts and opinions. That's just what I'm going to do. So, I do hear some footsteps, but hopefully they walk behind in front of me and you don't see them in the camera because if you see them in the camera, I will end it. Oh, it's my friend that I've seen multiple times in different locations. He's going to walk by me. He has this cool thing on his stroller, so that's going to be cool. And let's see. We've got to stop meeting this way.
Hi, how are you today?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, good.
Hi.
Yeah, talking to Grandma.
I love that.
You have a good one.
You as well. So let's see. Um, okay, let me sign in and let's see what my topics are going to be. So it's funny, for the last, I've recorded outside probably now a week. And every time I record, not every time, probably the past two times out of the past week, no, the three times I record out of the past week, he's walked by and he's probably doing what I'm doing, just picking different spots of the trail and just jumping in and then riding along the trail. So I love that. So I will be honest, I don't really like when I see the same people because now I'm like, are you watching me? Are you following me? Do you know what my car looks like? I don't know. That's just me. I watch a lot of Dateline. Anyways, okay, but I am paying very close attention to him. Don't you even worry about that. Anyways, okay, so here are the topics today. So we have Colorado football recruiting, NFL playoff betting predictions, very interesting. College football 2026 predictions, I did that already. Fresno State football recruiting. Fresno State football recruiting, that is actually pretty cool. That's a different team altogether actually, and I'm just hitting the wrong buttons. I was so excited about that I didn't even know what to do. I started hitting all the wrong buttons. So, football analysts, football analysis, draft grades. Football analysis draft grades. If you've noticed, I think analyst and analysis are the same freaking word just because, you can have all this education, you can still fumble with words. There you go. So, football analysis draft grades. That's interesting. I might do that one. I don't know. Let's see. Most controversial referee decisions in football. Humiliating skills in football. Interesting. Best sideline reactions NFL. Memphis Tigers football recruiting. I love that. That's kind of cool. Miami Hurricanes football. How to be a better wide receiver in football, as if I know. Most disappointing NFL teams. Those birds are reacting to that family walking by. Most disappointing NFL teams is actually pretty interesting. Most okay, so here's the problem. I actually want to talk about a couple of things. So I think it'd be kind of cool to talk about football analysis draft grades. Miami Hurricanes football keeps popping up, and if the Miami Hurricanes stay on there this week, I will talk about the Miami Hurricanes. There's a lot of reasons why I'm not talking about the Miami Hurricanes, but if they stay on this list, I will talk about them at some point this week. That is my promise. That's the best that I can do. But I kind of like most disappointing NFL teams. You know what? I'm going to do this by order of which it's here. So I'm going to do draft analysis or football analysis draft grades. And I'm going to make this my own. So football analysis draft grades. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to squat down and set this down because I need these hands. You know what I mean? I need my hands. Okay, that didn't sound like I was hoping it would sound. Anyways, okay, I'm being silly. football football draft. So here's my take on this topic. I we all know by this point, I have a huge problem with college football and the lack of transparency with college football. The one thing that I wish we could do is understand draft grades a little bit better so that we could understand what's happening. So similar, so my okay, let me retract this, or let me go backwards. My argument with this is this: why is it that we can know if you're a 3 star, 2 star, 5 star, whatever star, right? And we're going to overanalyze you. We're going to do all of these things. We're going to know all your measurables, all the details, all your film. We're going to break it down. We're going to be all of these different things. But when it comes to draft grades, why do we not know draft grades? What happens there? Because I feel like in order to understand football as a whole, you have to understand it all. And in order to understand it all, you need more information. And so the more information that you can gather, there's a large dog over there. So the more information that you can gather, the better. So if I am going to be able to assess if somebody's a 4 star, a 2 star, a 3 star, 5 star, whatever, why can I not look at their draft grades? Because now I want to understand if the star system is actually correct. And the best way to determine that is go from star system to what their draft grade is, to then where they get drafted, and then how they perform. So if you want me to understand a system, you have to give me the information to understand that system. So the information to understand that system is you give me the stars. That's the first thing. Once you give me the stars, and then I add that to the play at the university, then once you give me that, I get their draft grades based on their production. And then I take all of those pieces of the pie, and then when they get drafted and go to the NFL, I watch them. Then I'm able to evaluate talent, and then I'm able to make sense of what's going on. Here's the catch. I think the reason why we don't know that is because who's going to make money? If we can do these things ourselves, right? If we can evaluate the things that are happening ourselves, then who's going to make money off of this? So like I always say, and mainly like I think about a lot of things, they're keeping information from us. So if you withhold information and you withhold pieces of the pie and you withhold pieces of the process, the normal consumer cannot make an opinion because I don't have all the information to make an opinion. And I think that's the name of the game. So for me, I want the draft grades. I want to understand this analysis. I want to understand what they're going through. I can know if you're a 4 star, 2 star, 3 star, whatever. I can watch you play football. I can evaluate your film. You can give me all 22. You can give me everything to formulate my own opinion, but you can't give me the information that allows me to see what other people's opinions are and why and understand that process. I think it is because everybody is trying to hoard data. Everybody is trying to hoard information. And so if I know something that you don't know, I then can make an informed decision based on the fact that you don't know certain things, i.e., the way that I evaluate certain football teams. I know for a fact everybody doesn't watch as much football as I watch. I know that there are a lot of people that watch a lot of football. I'm just saying, I sit at home and I literally watch all these games, okay? I usually pick 3 games a week, and at 11 o'clock, I'll watch a game. At 2 o'clock, I'll watch a game. 5 o'clock, I'll watch a game. Usually there's another game that comes on at 7 o'clock, and then I'll watch my teams play. I will also sit down and I will pause certain games to watch other games and then hit play to finish the other game. I am up in that, okay? I'm doing that because I'm getting information. So when I'm evaluating teams and when I say things about Indiana or when I say things about Oregon or when I say things about Texas Tech, when I say certain things about certain things, even when I say things about my Texas Longhorns, hook 'em by the way, I'm saying those things because I'm not only watching my team, I'm watching other teams play and I'm cross comparing because that is what's giving me information. However, we don't get to see draft grades because then we would be able to compare information. We would be able to analyze what is going on and we would be able to see some things. For example, let's use Caleb Downs. Everybody knows who Caleb Downs is, right? So let's just use him as a good example. If we were allowed to see Caleb Downs' draft grade right now, then we could have followed him. We could know, okay, we know what we've seen. We know what's going on. We know his size. We know his speed. We know all of these factors, right? And now we have his draft grade. So now when I see somebody else like Caleb Downs, I already know where to put them because I understand the whole process. We're not getting all that information. I'm using Caleb Downs because he's easy. Everybody knows him. Let's think about somebody else. Let's talk about somebody from my Texas Longhorns. Let's think about Ethan Burke. Unless you're a Texas Longhorns fan, or unless you're an Oklahoma fan, or unless you are an A&M fan, or unless you are a football psycho, you have no idea. By the way, being a football psycho is a great thing. You have no idea who Ethan Burke is. However, Ethan Burke is a guy who played for Texas, okay? And if you don't know him, you don't know his stars, you don't know where he came from, you don't know how well he played at Texas, if he played at Texas, you don't know what's going on. He didn't get a combine invite, he didn't get a lot of things. And we don't know his draft grade. We know because he didn't get a combine invite that we know that I think it's like not at least not 20 teams wanted to see him perform at the combine. Okay, we got that. But what does that mean? Does that mean that he's technically right now undrafted? Maybe. That might be what it means. But it might mean that he has a hodgepodge of information and only 6 teams are thinking about taking him. So if 6 teams are only thinking about taking him and not the 20 that he needs, where does that leave him? How does that work? My point is this. I always say this. I'm an educator. You know this. If you don't know this, welcome. I am an educator. What I do is educate. That is what I do. It's what I've always done for a lot of different reasons. And one of the things that you will learn as an educator is you have to have information. In order to make informed decision, in in order to make informed decisions, you have to have information. And in order to get the information, people have to give you the information, and then you cross compare the information based on other people, based on what you know, and all these different factors. When we're not giving the information, it is hard for us to understand what the draft rankings are. It's hard for us to really understand. So now we have to search and find, and now we have to see what teams are doing. So let's say I am going through the draft and I'm a 5 star. I played well in college, did all these great things. I was told that I'm a first round or a second round pick, and then I get picked in the second round. But then I go to my team and I'm amazing and I overperform and I do all these other things. The issue is, if you tell me those things and I go and I overperform what my draft grade is, now I'm kind of looking at you sideways as the public. That is what I think they don't want. They want to hoard this information because information is king. People are stealing information. People are paying for information. Information is what makes this world go. Information and money is what makes this world go. And if you have the information, you know what else you control? You control the money. So that is why this whole thing is a little diluted and we don't get all the information that I think that we should have. Because listen, I want to make informed decisions. I want to know what's going on. I want to know if I want so and so to be on my team. I want to know if the Rams are going to grade this person out as a second round pick and the Tampa Bay Bucks are going to grade him out as a second round pick, but my team is grading him out as a third round pick, whatever that looks like. I want to know, or the reverse. What if my team is grading him out as a first round pick and then another team is grading him out as a seventh round pick? Like, I want to understand this information. I want to gather this. I want to know these details. We will never know these details. The only way you know these details is if you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, and that's just how it's going to be. And honestly, I think it's going to stay that way because it benefits the system that it's supposed to benefit. Anyways, that was just me ranting on this topic. I don't really know if that was the point of this topic, but that was the point of this topic for me. And I'm glad that I did it because I feel better. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. What do you think about these draft rankings? What do you think about these draft grades? Was that the topic? I'm pretty sure that was the topic. Was that the top? Did I just make this topic my own? Football analysis draft grades. Okay, so it is about draft grades. So I did a semi good job. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. As always, I'll see you in my next video.